Back in 1994, I was really a rookie reporter in Detroit, and this was one of the first big stories that I was on. And it happened around Christmas time. And so a lot of the other reporters were on vacation and things. And so it was really one of my bigger breaks. But we got a call out of Livonia, which is a suburb of Detroit, about maybe 15, 20 minutes from Detroit, real normal suburb, but it was a urgent call that a young boy had gone missing. His mom, Dejuana Sims, took her son Dejuan to the mall, and he disappeared. She said they were walking through the mall, the Wonderland Mall, and she was holding his hand, and then all of a sudden he got separated from her. And so there was this mad search because a couple of hours had gone by. So people were looking everywhere in the malls, around the malls, wondering if he somehow had gotten into a car with somebody or just what could have happened. And they knew he was just a young boy. And so they went to the security cameras and thought, all right, this will help. We'll follow him through the mall. And they went to the security cameras, and the security camera showed that Dejuana Sims, the mom, walked into the Wonderland Mall alone. She never had her son with her. And so instantly, obviously, she was a suspect, but she was never charged in this crime. The police were never able to come up with enough evidence to prove that she did anything to this kid, that she did anything other than lie. And so police to this day, Dejuan Sims has never been found. Police do not know where he went or what happened to him through the years. Even recently, we've done stories as to what Dejuan Sims would look like today, now 30 years later, 25 years later. And we have traveled on this story down to Atlanta because there were stories that he may be down there. We pursued that. And Dejuana Sims just died this year, just a few months ago. She died of natural causes, I believe. And this case is just one of those cases that is so bizarre because somebody had to see something, a young child to just go missing, whether something happened to him at the house or there was some accidental death and they discarded the body, or there were stories about him possibly being sold, that maybe the family needed money and they sold the child. And so there's been this bizarre sort of search for Dejuan Sims around the country, as if one day we're going to find Dejuan Sims and there's going to be this backstory of how, he was taken out of the state of Michigan for one reason or another. There were thoughts that maybe the mom did this to protect the boy from somebody else. And so you would think that, the mom clearly lying in this story about the mall would have led to her being charged with the crime, but it never happened. And police were just perplexed as to what could happen to this boy. And this for months and months and months, people were searching everywhere because they thought he must be somewhere in the area. But he has never been found to this day, unsolved. Tips still come in periodically that somebody thinks they know where Dejuan Sims is.
Y'all focusing on what's this and what's that, who I went with, who I sleep with, who I live with. That's not the focus. The focus is finding Dejuan. He's 4 years old, he's alone, and he needs to come home to his mother. I don't want to talk to him.
Dejuana Sims did not like to be interviewed. She did not want to talk to the media, but you could talk to her on the phone. We would call her and she would talk to you and she'd say, I had nothing to do with this. I had nothing to do with this. And, whether you believed her or not, she knew something. So you just didn't know if she was trying to protect her child or if she was involved in this or if someone else did something and she was protecting that person. You never really knew, but she stayed in the Livonia area for a long time. Eventually she moved out to the East Coast, but not for probably 15 years after the disappearance. And the story would come up every anniversary, every December. It would be, what happened to Dejuan? Where is he? And she would talk to police. Police talked to her all the time, and every so often, as reporters, we would talk to her. But there wasn't some, real read into the situation, as if, come on, come clean. You were involved. You just tell us what you really know. That never really happened, and she's now passed on, and we just won't know unless Dejuan actually is still alive and shows up someday. One of the real painful things about this case is that it's unresolved, and so there's no closure for anybody. And for decades, there's been suspicion thrown at different people. In this case, Dejuan Sims's grandmother had life insurance out on the boy. And she said it was to make sure he had money to go to college. It was the life insurance that you put the money in and you can get it out later. But people were a little suspicious that she collected on a life insurance policy on a little kid, which not every little kid has life insurance on them. The dad was a suspect, and people thought he must have done something. And Dejuan, the mom, went to the mall to protect him. But he passed a polygraph test. And so people kind of said, well, maybe he didn't do it or didn't have anything to do with it. And other people said, oh, anybody can pass a lie detector test. So he's lived with suspicion and pain and suffering, as did the grandma. And the mom, of course, everybody was very suspicious of her entire life. And so when you have an unresolved case, an unsolved mystery in a disappearance like this, there's never any closure, and that pain continues. The sadness that this boy is gone, but also for the people who are suspects in a case, they never get any closure either.